Are there any questions?
I'll ask you, Stuart. Rudy talks about attachments, and he said something about fill yourself with attachments, and then about them being ripped out. So, just in general, could you speak about attachments?
Yeah, I mean, look, I do all the time. Uh, we get emotionally, mentally, physically attached to things that are transient, that, that really have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we attach ourselves to people, to situations, to all kinds of money, all kinds of stuff we attach ourselves to, and it's all transient. And instead of attaching ourselves to the one thing that's infinite in the universe, and that is God, creative energy, which that kind of attachment gives us the capacity to draw upon that energy and allow it to truly nurture every single part of our being. We waste so much energy believing that creating gods out of finite things, out of material things, and those things basically take our lives away. It's not, as I say all the time, it's not a matter of not having. It's like Rudy said, it's to have and to be free of what you have. You have money, but money doesn't have you. You have a relationship with somebody, but the relationship doesn't have you. You love, people, you raise children, you love your parents, you have friends, but none of that has you. And then you can truly share your love unconditionally. You can truly look at another human being and, see what is truly going on and allow yourself to deal with them in an unconditional way. So, we are attached. We're attached to many, many things. If we weren't, we wouldn't have to do this meditation. But, the whole purpose of the meditation is to build an inner life that is strong enough where we can live in the world with all its, demands and all our desires, and at the same time be free of the world, because we have a connection inside ourselves to higher energy in the universe. So, attachments don't go away. We have them all our life. But what can go away is, those attachments taking our lives. We can have things, but we can be free of them at exactly the same time. And I think that's a really wonderful way to live, because we don't create God out of money, out of a house, out of a car, out of relationships, out of, we really, enjoy these things, live with them, learn from them, and at the same time continue. Those things are teaching us to continue to build a deep inner life, a strong inner life, connection with spirit. And if we don't build that kind of inner life, then all of these attachments really drain us of our energy. They take our lives away from us. So it's a funny paradox, it's not easy. You can never understand it in the mind. It has to become a living experience. And it only becomes a living experience when you build an inner life that is strong enough to do what I'm talking about. So it's not to have, it's wonderful to have a great house and, money and success and all. But the problem is that people create God out of these things. And they think those things will ultimately make them happy, and they never do. So the whole purpose is really to be successful in the world and allow the success to teach you how to get free of the success. And how do you get free of the success? You build a system that's connected to spirit, which makes life really full of abundance. And life should be full of abundance. But we can't allow the abundance to kill us, to drain us of all our energy, of our connection with God, of spirit. And the only way to do that is to learn from success and money and all the things we attach ourselves to, how to build an inner life that is strong enough to be free of them. Because ultimately, look, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to know that one day we have to let go of it all. I mean, it really is transient. One day we all leave the world and all of these things we were attached to, they just are left behind us. For the next generation of people to attach themselves to these things, And the problem is almost nobody learns, that's really the problem. To look at all our and what are they teaching me? They're teaching me that I need to go really deep inside. I need to build a spiritual life because all of this is transient. It's all Maya, it's all an illusion. And then I can enjoy it without thinking that it represents God and any kind of permanent security or anything of that nature. It's just something that floats through life that we can enjoy, we can love, we can open to, we can learn from. And it teaches us how to build an inner life that is strong enough to connect with God. Because all of it, of a material nature, of an emotional, mental, it all is transient. It comes and it goes. So, there's nothing wrong with, having these things, enjoying them. The problem is when we don't connect with spirit at the same time, these things will drain our energy, they will take our lives away from us. And then it becomes, how much money does a human being need to get through the day? That's a good question, I mean, does somebody need $120 billion to get up in the morning and live their day? It's just madness of the world that people, have such profound greed that they attach themselves to money and they create money into a god. And it ultimately just consumes them. And that is a byproduct of not doing any kind of inner work, not building a chakra system, not building a system inside that connects one to what's really infinite in the universe. And that's spirit. All the rest of it just eats everyone alive. Unless you're free of it, and then you can really enjoy it, Doesn't have you, and you can truly enjoy it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
When you're working with us, are you able to sense or feel where we're at spiritually and how far we have to go?
Yes, that's part of my job. Each and every one of you demands a different perspective from me. I have to work a little bit different because everybody's different. And I can see, it's easy to see a human being and recognize that if they live on the level they live now for the rest of their life, exactly where their life is going to go. And that's part of the practice here, is breaking down the level of life we're living on so that we can evolve into a higher state of consciousness. And my job is to help people do that. There's no safety net, you understand? There really isn't in life. There's no real security except being connected with spirit. Yes, we talk about economic security, we talk all these things, but ultimately, as I just said before, it all gets taken away from us. So beneath all of that is this kind of strange fear that we have of the unknown, of stepping into the unknown, not realizing that all creative energy exists in the unknown. What we know is about maybe 2% of what exists in the universe. So my job is to help people get strong enough inside to where they can consciously, develop a system inside that can take them to a higher state of being, a higher state of consciousness, and ultimately open a doorway and a path to enlightenment, to spiritual enlightenment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you work with like long-term creative commitments and work commitments and keep it like fresh and like a spiritual experience?
Well, that it totally depends on yourself, Zach. Everything becomes boring. Everything becomes sterile if we allow it to. At the same time, if we're changing inside and growing inside, if we are breaking ourselves down, if we are really attaining higher level, then the most mundane things become sacred. They can never become boring. And long-term commitments are very good. Look, when I was younger in New York, I used to study acting, and one of the things we learned is how to live in the moment. Because, if you get into a play, that play can run for 300, performances and can very easily become stale if it is a constant repetition of the same thing. So one has to truly transform it, to change it, to learn how to understand what that play was in the moment. Life is no different. Long-term commitments are great, but our job is to refresh ourselves, to resurrect ourselves, to recreate ourselves in the moment so that none of that gets stale. That every day in that long-term commitment, there's something major and important that we have to. I mean, look, I've been doing this meditation for, 45 years. And by now it should be something very stale. And that's been my long-term commitment. Every single class, every single day, it's a miracle to me. I learn something, I grow, I change. And the reason for that is I keep working on myself, to refresh my inner life, to resurrect my inner life, to not allow it, to become entombed in some boring repetition of living that really turns everything into a stagnant pool of water, But that's the job of a human being, so that each and every day is something fresh. And long-term commitments are great. I mean, a long-term marriage is great, but it's not going to work if people don't refresh themselves every day. If they don't resurrect themselves, recommit themselves, find the newness in the day, and not just, oh my God, here we go again. It's the same old bullshit, the same old stuff. What am I, I'm bored, I'm tired, I can't stand anymore. And no, I'm telling you, look, this meditation class is a commitment of so many years that to me, it's just unbelievable that I've even done this. And the reason I've done it is that in order to do this and to have classes like we have here, I have to regenerate my energy every single day. I can't allow myself to get stale. And even if I get tired, you understand, I have to go beyond the tiredness. I mean, today I was very, very tired, and I have to, in order to do this class, I had to go beyond the tiredness and regenerate my inner life, my connection with spirit, and find something new. Something new. And I think that's in any long-term commitment. So it's fresh. It's not, oh my God, I'm getting robotic. I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. Can't stand it. It's boring. I need to do something, and then people get themselves into a lot of trouble. I mean, affairs happen, and, out of marriage, relationships happen, all kinds of stuff that people do to try to stimulate themselves. instead of really going inside and finding that depth of commitment to God. And if you're connected to that spiritual energy, that energy is infinite in the universe, and it will constantly resurrect you. It'll constantly rebuild you and give you a freshness inside yourself. So you can't look at that in the external world. You have to find it in yourself, and then you will find it in so many wonderful things in that long-term relationship.
Thanks, Stuart.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I had a question about the Kundalini. When it burns stuck energy and you feel that fiery, sweating heat, is it from this lifetime? Is it from multiple lifetimes?
It's all of the above. You are burning karma from this lifetime. You're burning karma from 5 lifetimes ago. You're truly getting free of all the things that have made you what you are today by learning how to draw that energy. You know, the energy transforms itself when it moves through the sexual area. You know, I mean, that energy is the energy of Tantra. And that is where, as I've said many times, the male-female principle unites and gives birth to the Kundalini. It's where the human is transformed into the spiritual. And that is really an important thing, because it really goes back to the question I just answered. It's a way of resurrecting yourself. It's a way of taking the staleness of daily living and transforming it into Kundalini energy. It's a very important aspect of our work. And that will burn up karma, you know, from this lifetime, from last lifetime, from God knows 10 lifetimes ago, that we have been holding on to. So it's really the key to all of this. You know, we need to learn through the practice of meditation how to transform the human into the divine, because the human always gets stale. I mean, you know, we're born, we live, we die. The body begins to fall apart. You know, the mind gets, you know, senile and this and that, you know. But when you draw the energy through that sexual area, you know, the whole human begins to transform itself into the spiritual. And the connection with the spiritual will resurrect your whole inner life. You're drawing upon what's infinite in the universe, not, you know, that day by day humdrum existence that we try to make, but we don't know how to make it, and we get bored and tired and angry, and etc. The key is the energy moving through the sex chakra to the base of the spine and activating Kundalini. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
So that part,
Yes.
so that part happens during the double breath, or because we're not consciously trying to do that part, right?
You bring a piece of your attention to the base of the spine and draw the energy through the sex chakra, that will start happening. Just 5% of your attention is enough to the base of the spine. Don't bring your entire mind there, because you'll lose your balance and center. But just 5–10% of your attention is enough. And then you can draw the energy through the sex to the base of the spine. The double breathing opens up the 3rd chakra. It opens up the heart. It allows the spirit, you know, the mind to go down, to get quiet, and it allows spiritual energy, Shakti, from a higher to flow through our system. Drawing the energy through the sex is a simple process. You bring a piece of your attention there, and you draw the energy through the sexual area to the base of the spine. And that will transform the human thing to the spiritual thing, you know? It'll activate Kundalini, which is the pathway to enlightenment. So it's just a simple process of doing. It's just, it's just part of the technique of this meditation practice that I teach. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart, Chris.
Yes.
Stuart, can you share with us what you've learned in this last few days and your adventure in Mexico?
Well, I don't know what to share. It's been, very interesting and a wonderful place to be. I've learned a lot about myself and what my needs are going to be in the future. I've also learned that I can live anywhere.
Oh,
And that is a very important thing. It doesn't have to be in San Miguel de Allende. It doesn't have to be in Portugal. It doesn't have to be in Russia. It doesn't have to be anywhere. Wherever I am, that's where I am. And it's like I once wrote in a book, I used to get so tired of I'm going to Stonehenge, I'm going to the Andes. I used to hear this all the time. I'm going to the Himal, I'm going to meditate in a cave there. And I find, the most sacred place on earth is wherever you are. And part of the miracle of today's life is this Zoom thing. I don't have to wait for students to come to me. I can do this, although I must admit, in-person classes are much more powerful, much deeper. They really, I do hands-on healing with people when they come, and it's much more powerful. But we can still have these classes and connect with people. I mean, there are people here from Australia, from Brazil, from all over the United States. I mean, it's amazing, So what I learned here is I don't have to be anywhere. Wherever I am, I can do the work that I was born here on the earth to do. And I must say, this is a very charming, very beautiful city. The restaurants are very good. People are fun. Even had a driver. I really liked the guy. We became very good friends. And told me the story of his life and having to swim across the Rio Grande and getting kicked out of the United. All this insanity that goes on that most of us don't really have any contact with. And his 5 children in America, and he wants to go back and see them. And all kinds of people are there to teach you. You just kind of make friends with them, and it's wonderful. But the important thing I really learned is that I can be anywhere and do my spiritual practice. I can just do my spiritual practice, alone by myself, being anywhere in the world, because wherever you are, you're connected to God. The problem is not having the training to do this. That's the problem. People don't have the training. And people get very satisfied in sedentary life, and it keeps them from ever getting the training. They're not willing to do what really is necessary to get the training. And life is, we asked before, becomes very sedentary. And it keeps one from ever, a lot of people that do this meditation, they just do it to sustain the sedentary life that they live.
mm-hmm.
And I think that is, it's a crime against themselves. They're doing something to themselves that they shouldn't do, because it just enables them to continue to live on that same plane and, not ever really going to a much deeper, higher plane of consciousness. You've got to completely renew yourself. And that happens not only on a spiritual level, it happens on a physical level also. It all works together. And, as I've said many times, anyone can drink from a brook that's flowing down the mountain. Once it becomes a lake, it begins to attract all kinds of disease. Can't drink from it. And most people want to become a lake. They don't want to continue to be that brook flowing, from the top of the Himal, right into the, the belly of God, they don't want that. They want to be sedentary. They want to live a life that is kind of safe and, and they don't really have to do the work that takes them to a higher plane of consciousness. And what I learned here was that I can do this anywhere. I don't need to be anywhere, you know?
Mhm.
And that kind of freed me. It was a very good thing for me to learn. You know, it could
That's
be
great.
Portugal, it could be here in Mexico, I don't know, it could be in Brazil, it could be God knows where, you know? Wherever the universe wants me to wind up, I will wind up. So it gave me a lot of freedom making this trip.
Gee, that's great. Thank you.
But it also gave me a deep sense of wanting to truly do this meditation in person, because they're much, much stronger and they're deeper, really powerful, hands-on healing work that I've been actually doing all week, you know? And the classes are really much deeper and much stronger. But this is what we have, and we have to make what we have work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a waste of everybody's time. So I think it's working. You know, I don't know. You tell me. Is it working?
Yeah. It's working.
It's working, you know?
But will there be opportunities to work with you in person as soon as COVID is done with?
You know, just send me an email, say you want to come. There's somebody coming next week. You know, I've had Isabel here all week, you know, and we've had incredible classes, and, you know, and she's taken, I mean, God bless her, she's taken care of so much stuff for me, you know, that had to be done, that I'm just so grateful. But yes, you know, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times that people are welcome to come. There are other people that are coming in October or November. You know, right now where I am, I can't have a big crowd of people. So there's one person, two people that come, and we have really powerful classes. I'm open to that. But people have to make the effort to do it. I can't, you know, I can't make that effort for you.
I have a question, Stuart. Do you see a time in the near future when you will allow non-vaccinated people to come and study with
Yeah,
you?
I'll tell you when that time is, when this COVID thing is finished. While this is going on, and the stuff I read in the papers and the news, it's just horrible. 650,000 people have died in the United States alone. 98.9% of the people that are getting sick now are unvaccinated people. Now, I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but, you know, I keep reading these things, hearing about these things, and I don't want to become a viaduct for people spreading COVID to other people. And I have to have this mandate that if you want to come, you know, I really, I really need people to be vaccinated. If you don't want it, I respect it. But then you have to respect the fact that I don't want people here who are unvaccinated. And I'm not of any opinion in any way whether people should be or shouldn't be vaccinated. But I am careful. You know, I'm living with my daughter. I don't want to have any problems. I've been vaccinated twice, you know. And I was a big anti-vaxxer for years, you know. I never wanted anything to do with that whole part of society. And then I said, no, I was reading about this. I said, to me, it was silly not to do it. You know, I had it twice. I had, you know, no side effects, nothing. I mean, I had a little bit of tiredness after the second one.
Yeah, Stuart, I love and respect you, and of course, would honor your wishes. You know, it doesn't, unfortunately, the vaccination doesn't stop the transmission. So there's lots of facts around it. However, I respect your wishes, and I would just look forward to the day when you say, you know, it's fine, or maybe non-vaccinated people
Well,
have to do it
when
again.
this COVID thing comes to an end,
Mhm.
everyone's welcome to come. While it's going on, and while 2,000 people a day are dying in the United States, and 99% of them are unvaccinated people, I you know, what am I going to say? I have to say no. I need to protect my daughter, myself. I need to protect anyone who comes. And whether, you know, whatever person's belief about vaccination is their belief. But I don't want to be responsible for people, you know, getting sick.
It's interesting. I'm reading different facts. But like I said, I love you. I'm so grateful for you, Stuart. Whatever you're open to, I am grateful to receive and connect with you. I have the highest respect and love for you, and thank you. And I'll email you soon with showing you some gratitude of what I'm doing in the community here that I think is a result of me working with you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, dear. And as soon as this, you know, COVID thing goes away, it would be a joy to have you here, you know, and to do the kind of work I can do spiritually with you. It would be a joy. Absolutely a joy.
I'm very excited. Looking forward to that.
All right. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, as I announced before class, there won't be a class tomorrow because I'll be traveling. I have to go from here to Mexico City. But there will be a class on Sunday. And, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And once again, as I always kind of end these classes, God bless you all for being here, for being part of this, and for truly making this happen. You know, your presence here is essential for these kind of classes to happen. And I'm just very grateful for this. Because not only you learn, I learn a great deal when I come and do these classes. So bless you all, and thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday, and have a great weekend.
God bless you. Thank you.
very much, Stuart.
Safe travel, Stuart.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
safe travels.
Safe travels. Bless you, Stuart.
Safe travel.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh.